Are you looking to improve your health? If yes, this book review session is for you. My name is Sijith and I am the host of the online show Caterpillar to Butterfly, and today we are going to review this book 4G Code to Good Health by Ishi Khosla. You can see this, right? I thought this was a well-written book in terms of organizing the health categories into 4 categories. So, according to Ishi, the 4 categories are gut, gluten, glucose, and girth. So, gut is our gut health. Gluten is the intolerance that we get from good gluten resistance that the gluten resistance that our body kind of creates. Glucose, obviously, the sugar, all the challenges related to that. And girth is our belly fat, especially the visceral fat around the internal organs. She goes into detailed explanation what actually happens in our body when we when we eat certain kind of food, and how it triggers certain responses within our body, and how internally it is helping and not helping in terms of how well we are doing in our health. So that was really helpful. Obviously, there are 2 parts of this book. First part is understanding about a lot of details, and again second part is also sort of related to that. Second part is what is called what should we do. So part 1 is a lot of details and high level theory and how it works. So if you want to understand how it works and how it's going, and then definitely part 1 is the to be used for understanding it. Part 2 is where she goes into details on specific strategies to help you implement better healthcare in your day-to-day life, and I found that very helpful. In general, when I read health books, I like that split because I can learn the theory in one section, and then I can go and specifically look for implementation practices in the second session. So now if I want to go to understand what are the implementation details on this book, I can actually go to the part 2, and then from there everything is implementation, right? So it gets very easy for me instead of being worried about where to look for all the details and everything. I'll go a little bit of detail into some of the lessons I learned, and I'm going to implement in my life. Obviously, it talked a lot about some of the fundamentals of healthcare. So one of the things I kind of came across is there are sort of basic elements that is applicable to everybody, and then there are specifics that are individually it is like different for different people, right? So for example, how much magnesium do you need, how much potassium do you need, how much vitamin C that you're getting that you need additionally. Those are there are recommended categories, recommended baseline for that values, but in general we are trying to see is how well you're doing on that. But it's bio-individual, it's not specific to one person, right? It is specific to one person, it's not generic. But then there are generic categories like cut down sugar, cut down unnecessary carbs, right? So you can either go for a low carb meal or a high carb meal, does not really matter. But nobody disagrees that you cut down on your processed food, you cut down on your salt intake, you cut down on your sugar intake, you cut down on your trans fat intake, right? So I think that one she also iterate, and that's something that I always take from these kind of books is what's the basic fundamental blocks that I can now build on top of it, right? So obviously there are 4 don'ts, which are what are they? Let me see. It's processed food, P, S for salt, then another S sugar, and then T for trans fat, right? So it's sort of, if I feel in general health and wellness, if you can cut down general if you can cut down unnecessary processed food, it drastically cut down unhealthy fat and unhealthy carbs, right? So pretty much all the source of cholesterol is coming from that processed food. you cut that out, you are actually doing well. And the processed food also gets you salt, right? So by default, the fact that you're eating the processed food, you're actually getting you salt, and like add a lot of salt. Like take a pizza or any kind of processed food, it has a lot of salt in it. Usually processed food have a lot of carbs that also converts into unhealthy carbs that converts into sugar. So you are actually doing a sugar spike as well with the processed food. And then obviously you can actually take regular food like rice. Rice is not a processed food, but obviously it can increase sugar intake. Any other food that are not necessarily processed, but it can spike your blood sugar. Obviously that's a category by itself. And then trans fat, right? Like go for French fries. French fries is actually processed food. It increases salt because they have a lot of salt in it. It increases the sugar because obviously unhealthy carbs converting to sugar. It's a trans fat as well based on how it is cooked and how it is made actually, right? And so that was very helpful, and it's my commitment that I want to keep continuing to reduce the processed food, reduce or minimalize the salt intake, really control my sugar intake, and also control my trans fat intake as well. So that's sort of critical. Gut health, obviously, there are a lot of things that we do with like non-food related, like antibiotics, right? So antibiotics kills good bacteria in our gut. So if you get sick, do you just rush to the hospital or doctor to get an antibiotic, or you try some remedy? Again, I'm not suggesting a replacement, but it was brought up, how all these medications and things sort of cause all these problems. I like 4 things to do. So there is so we talk about 4 things to cut down, then we also talk about 4 things to do. In the 4 things to do, it is basically what are they? Let me just remember. Yes, it is yoga. Yes. Then aerobic exercise. It's YAMS, YAMS. That's the acronym. Yes, yoga, aerobic exercises, meditation, and sleep. Which, of course, yoga gives you stretching. It's good for your kind of nervous system. It's good for your spine. It's good for general health and well-being. Aerobic exercise, it increases the health rate. It increases the cardio, and then it also helps in a good metabolic, strength and things like that. So definitely meditation, very much helpful for stress reduction. How we are thinking, sort of relaxing our brain, relaxing our mind. Sleep. It has physical impact, emotional impact, mental impact. It's really important that how we sleep, the quality of sleep is directly proportional to quality of our energy, how we feel. And I have done another video on that, on another book review I did on called Why We Sleep. There was a book dedicated for improving the quality of sleep, and you can actually watch that video as well in my channel. So in general, sort of high level ideas, and then obviously there are a lot of tips and tricks. I personally like her attitude of everything related to strategy, systems, and processes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Talked about minerals, vitamins, different vitamins, minerals, what they need, how much is important for us, how can we plan and to implement. And there are a lot of cookbooks related things. This is a Indian author, and I got it when I went to India for my Indian trip. So obviously a lot of recipes are Indian related, but the fundamental foundation are the same. Keep quality food, keep quality ingredients, and then eat healthy. Protein intake is something that she covered. Higher protein content, and then low good quality fat, and then low carbs. Obviously, if you take good protein, like it'll make you full anyway. Then if you are increasing healthy fat, again it's going to make you full. Then if you are adding carbs, healthy carbs, then your meal is set, right? So like I have seen that when I cut the processed food, and if I'm cutting my rice intake, and I'm also cutting down my sugar intakes in terms of snacks and those kind of things, I am pretty good in general way. Then all I need to do is other supplements and other things I need to get done. So this is a book I'm going to revisit again and again. There's a lot of good gems, and I'm actually looking to implement this as well, and I'm really looking forward to make my health better based on all these health and wellness strategies that I'm implementing and putting them to putting them to place in my life. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like to get more of these videos in a regular way, please consider joining my inner circle by going to sijithinnercircle.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I will speak to you again next week. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye-bye.